right. Here we go. Welcome, everybody. Look at that. That looks even better. Welcome, welcome. There you go. Beautiful. So hello everybody, quick intro. What are we going to be doing today? We're going to be doing live demos and answering all the questions that I've received over the past weeks, actually. We're going to be talking prompt generation from scratch. Okay, I'll show you the full workflow that I showed off in the latest video. We're going to be talking about the product lineup and clarifying some of the parts that are, some of the questions that came up that are very reasonable. We're going to be talking about what's going to happen with the AI advantage moving forward. So as you might have seen, we're going to do weekly live events for course members. We're going to talk about all that. And we're going to answer all of your questions. Plus, we can discuss GPTs. We can discuss all of the latest updates. It's going to be a good one. Probably a bit of a longer stream. But yeah, just want to reconnect and show you everything we have. And then we're going to go ahead and literally pick out some of your jobs and do our best to kind of replace them inside of ChatGPT. You know, we're just going to do our best. Not saying we're going to manage, but going to demo the full workflow. Should be a fun little stream. So say hi in chat and yeah, audio. Okay, so let's see that we set this up. Bit of music and 2 minutes we begin, okay? Hello. Okay. So it seems like your volume was low. That's not up to me, my man. Is the music fine? So as you can see, travel setup, everything. Is the music too loud? Let me know. Yeah, it's almost a year since ChatGPT. I'm actually super excited to do this. We're gonna be doing it all live, okay? And obviously the title of this video, I'm gonna show you how to generate hundreds, thousands of prompts, and we're gonna do it. I don't know if we're gonna do it exactly for the 1,000 because it takes a while, but we can get close to that. Depending on what you guys enjoy, we'll do it, okay? But I'll show you how to do it from scratch, and it's all free. Good. That's fine. Then we finally figured out the audio thing. Yeah, it turns out, look, this is a travel setup. I'm in an Airbnb in Lisbon, you guys. Look at that. But the flame, wherever AI advantage goes, the flame follows. Okay. Well, good. Then let's get into this step by step, As mentioned, there's a few things on the agenda today. We're not going to adhere to it strictly or something like that. I just really want to talk to you and have an interactive session where we actually get stuff done inside of ChatGPT, where you learn something along the way. Plus, we clarify all the questions that might come up. So I'll keep my eye on the chat at most times. Sometimes I get into a bit of a flow and I just try to explain a concept as well as I can. In those cases, I'll catch up on the chat after that. But basically, what are we gonna do today? Well, we're gonna do a few things. First of all, we're gonna share where we're at. I love this at the beginning of the stream because look at that, we have 60 viewers in here and it's probably around 50 different countries. So just share where you're from. Already Sean Ralston sharing that he's in San Francisco right now. I'll follow up. I'm in Lisbon, Portugal right now. And just share where you're from. Good morning to all the people in the US. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving weekend. And to all the Europeans, to all my fellow Europeans, well, what a beautiful Sunday afternoon this is, right? So here we go. It's already beginning. New Orleans, USA. We're very US heavy, for sure. Didn't know about over 1/3 of the audience is purely US. Another third is Europe. And then the last third is from all over the world. So feel free to share it. But basically, what are we going to be doing? Okay, so first thing, we're going to share where we're from. But then we're going to go into this prompt generation workflow. And matter of fact, I was very excited about doing this live because this is something I wish I had spring this year. Or, yeah, spring this year when all the rage was around, prompting ChatGPT correctly. Like, how can you get it to do exactly what you want? There was no definitive answer. There was like, you can get a prompt pack of 10,000 prompts over here, and you can use this technique to craft your own prompts. And, even I made a 4-hour course where I went into it step by step, but that takes 4 hours, right? You're probably not going to be able to do that in one shot. There's quizzes in between, and there's a whole like library. So it's like a real, you have to dedicate yourself for like 2 to 3 days to actually work through all that, which is not feasible for most people. But what is feasible is if you have a generator, you can just get it done. And that's what we're going to be looking at today. So as you know, we kind of, I don't know if, I guess we open sourced. Yeah, I guess we open sourced the prompt generator that we call the Prompt Factory. And you can use this to generate an infinite amount of prompts for yourself. Okay, so why is this useful? Well, because if you do that and you do it specific to yourself, you can, if you customize the input and the assistant that generates the prompts, you get custom prompts out. And that means when you match the assistant to your needs, the prompts are going to solve your problems, your tasks, right? They're going to be custom tailored exactly to what AI can do for you. In other words, you're going to find it's a super simple way for AI to solve the problems that you might not even be aware of, or solve some of the tasks that AI can fully do for you today, and you might not be aware of the fact that it can. So that's what we're going to be looking at. Secondly, I'm going to give you a grand overview of kind of the product lineup and what we offer for free and what is coming for the AI Advantage, but it's so much work there. So there's a lot to talk about there. And thirdly, we're going to be hanging out and we're going to be answering questions. And along the way, we're going to be generating hundreds of prompts, okay? So it should be a fun time full of education and learning, but also, of interaction and answering questions and clarifying things that might not have been clear before. Let me see, okay. We're good. I think I should just get a sheet of paper so I can move my mouse properly. But if I look at this already, I love this so much. Look at that. France, Indonesia, Puerto Rico, Indonesia, homeless in Colorado. All right, Montreal, Canada, San Diego, California, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. As I said, very US heavy, right? But Korea, I love that. Serbia, my man. I shot a wedding in Serbia a few years ago. What a wedding that was. That was insane. It was in kind of in the castle in the middle of the capital, and it was absolutely wild. They had like a police escorted convoy through the city, and I was flying my drone. Like it was madness. Serbia goes hard. Love it. Netherlands. Hell yeah. Michigan. Look at that. So international. So I'm just going to get a sheet of paper so I can move this mouse properly, and we're going to get right into it. All right, amazing. So as we go through this, all questions are always encouraged. That's the beauty of this live stream format. In the end, for anybody watching the recorded version, there's going to be timestamps below, so you can, skip around and get to the parts that you really want to learn about. But essentially, what are we going to do today? Well, we're going to explore the system that we kind of developed internally here at the AI Advantage, okay? And it's completely novel. That's the thing. Like it was, I'll be honest, it was such a struggle to kind of find a way to communicate. And for everybody who has been following the journey since a while, you will have known that like on this like system, we iterated over the last 4 months and we changed the names a few times. And here's the thing, like if we're like this hanging out essentially in a room, right, where it's like we have a two-way conversation where you can send messages and I can talk to you like this. It's quite simple to explain. But if you have to condense it into like a headline or like a 1 minute video or something, it's like it's quite hard. So let's do this. Let's talk about what's happening here. Let me switch over to my screen and let me show you kind of what we created. So if I just switch on over to here, you will see just blank classic GPT-4. And here's the thing, like the classic workflow is you kind of like go in and you have prompt presets and you like the most basic level is you have these, right? But then you just get generic answers, right? Because two things. First of all, you have a generalist model, right? GPT-4 is just trained for everything. It's not trained for a specific thing. It's not tuned to a specific thing. And secondly, you're going to have like quite specific prompts, right? And you will know the better your prompts are, the more specific your prompts are, the more specific your results will be, right? That's the very basic that most people seem to comprehend at this point, right? Specific input, specific output. That makes a lot of sense. But people don't talk about the aspect of it that goes a step further, because it's not just about making the prompt specific. It's also about making all the context surrounding the prompt specific. Okay, so what do I mean by that? I mean by that, you know, if I start my workday and my job is to create a YouTube video, let's say, okay? And maybe what goes into that, like finding a topic and then researching and then educating myself and then condensing all that, then preparing the video, recording it, editing it, creating the description, title, packaging, putting it out there, right? All those steps. Let's just focus on one of those, okay? So maybe right at the beginning, like finding the idea. So what goes into finding the idea? Well, if you look at the prompt, you could just be like, give me ideas for YouTube videos, right? Like that's the most basic level. That's I would call that level 1. But if you go a step further, you'd say, give me ideas for a YouTube video for my channel called The AI Advantage that focuses on AI education, tutorials, and newest developments in the AI space. My target audience are AI enthusiasts, mostly, you know, English-speaking AI enthusiasts, typically around 25 to 45. That's kind of the main demographic of the people that watch this. And you give it all these details, right? So you specify target audiences. And all of a sudden, your prompt gets a little longer, right? It's not like this one-liner anymore, like this. But all of a sudden, maybe it's like 3 lines or 4 lines, right? And all of a sudden, ChatGPT can give you a better output, okay? But how do we go even a step further than that? Well, it's by defining the circumstances. It's by saying, all right, so not just that my channel is the AI Advantage, and not just that my target audience is AI enthusiasts that, you know, have these psychographics and demographics, and you define all that. But you also go ahead and say, okay, what are my values? What is my backstory? What are my preferences? How do I like to receive my responses from you? Maybe you define what is my current goal. Maybe my current goal right now is covering all of the topics that were released during OpenAI Dev Day. Well, that's a wildly different proposition and goal than just saying, I want to educate people on AI, right? Mind you, that's way more specific. And if we manage to kind of specify all these different pieces of context, essentially, well, then we're going to get to a whole new level of specific answer. Now, mind you, there's one caveat to this, and that is that classic GPT-4 or GPT 3.5 is still a generalist model, right? So in an ideal world, we would define all this perfectly. We would have our instructions, the prompt, like perfectly set up, but also the model would be kind of a specific model for YouTuber idea brainstorming, right? That would be the ideal world. But that's not what we have right now. So we can only get as close as possible. Okay, so now that we understand kind of like the levels to this, okay, let's talk about how to graduate from one level to the next, okay? And how to actually get stuff done that's useful, because that's the goal, right? Like, Igor, why would I want to like graduate from level 1 to 3 if I'm okay with level 1? Well, depends. Like, are you using the outputs of level 1 actively for your work, you know, of the basic prompt? If the answer is yes, then you're fine, right? maybe I would say, you know, have a look at what you would get with like level 3 or 4. But like, if you're happy, that's fine, right? But a lot of people find themselves in a situation where they get results and they're like, meh, right? They're like not fast, not like blown away by the results they get. And that's where I would say, well, start looking at the next level, right? So again, like level 1 would be just the basic 1-liner prompt. Level 2 would be like 3-4-line prompt, maybe even more. Level 3 would be all of a sudden you're in like essay territory, because you're defining, like, and we give this out with the free presets, right? You're defining, like, let's just look over those so we're all on the same page. Let's see, just drag this over here. So this is the free template we give away, right? And everything that I talked about is in here, right? No need to, like, we'll talk about the products and what more you can get and everything, but like, no need for any of that. If you can go in here and, you know, level 1 is these prompts. You just go ahead. You're like, okay, I want a productivity prompt, improve anything. Perfect. Then here you have a simple like 1-liner for ChatGPT, right? Yeah, there you go. One sec. There you go. All right. But so let's get actually into doing some stuff, right? Because this has been a whole lot of explaining, and I think that's important to establish a baseline. But this would be level 1, right? So if I want to get this done, like, you know, level 1 prompt, let's call it, and I, you know, just kind of like arbitrarily invented this like framework of like level 1, 2, 3, 4. But when you think about it, you know, this is gonna give you a certain quality of results, right? It's like a beginning. But then if you go further than that, you start saying like, okay, you know, we're talking about the management. So let's define all the context for the management. Like, who is in my management team? What is their background? What is their like decision? What does their typical decision making look like? Anything that you would kind of want to define to an assistant that is there to help you, right? You would put in there. That would be level 2. But then beyond that, you want to go to these. You want to go to these assistants. And what this does is basically, so now I'm not sure if I should cover it for free ChatGPT or I should do it for paid. Maybe let's just do a quick little poll. So just to get a feeling here, do you guys want me to cover the workflow for ChatGPT Plus or the workflow for free ChatGPT? Because we can do both. So free plus, what should we cover today? Okay, I'll just start a little poll. You can answer that in the and that's what I said. Like, today's gonna be interactive. Gonna be looking at your comments. Okay, so we're getting some comments that the volume is a little low here. So let me see if I can just quickly fix that. I feel like, yeah, I can over here. Test 1, 2. This should be better already. Okay. Okay. Okay, so people are saying plus. I think people really want plus here, huh? I can show you the free in the end too. Okay, then let's focus on plus. Yeah, it's good to see some familiar faces in here. Thanks, Raymond. Appreciate that. From Korea, that's very nice. Puerto Rico. Q star. Yeah, that's a. I feel like that's a bit of a different discussion. We're not going to talk about Q star today. I mean, obviously it's exciting as hell. Like, if it could do math, that would open up a whole new, whole new area to explore for us, because that has been kind of a no-go in terms of LLMs up until now, right? Cool. Good. So let's continue. So, level 2, more specific prompts, but level 3 would be like, you start defining things like this. If you look into these custom instructions, this is really how the whole process started, right? We developed these over summer, and now we transformed them into GPTs too, which we're going to talk about. But basically, you define all of these things, right? So you define the profession, you define the specific interests, you define the learning style, right? These are all points that are going to make it more specific, make it more pointy, therefore make your results more specific. And And this just opens up a world of possibilities because it's so funny. And that's why I'm doing this live, to kind of like explain this, because this is just like step one, right? Like defining what the web designer, what preferences he would have, right? So like I'm laughing because there's like so much to cover here. It's like it's a whole new world, honestly. Because these prompts, these are only gonna get you so far. But when you want like those custom results, you go in here and you go into custom instructions and you define all this stuff in here, right? We actually just had them enabled on this last prompt, but you define all of them in here. And then you run your prompts, okay? And I want you to, it's just a purely subjective thing, but I just want you yourself to try this, you know, get the free template and just try running some of the prompts. I think, you know, if you open up the web designer like so, you're gonna find matching prompts in here. And just try running some of these with classic ChatGPT, and then try running them with these custom instructions enabled. Okay? Just do that for yourself. And, you know, ideally pick a field that you're familiar with. Don't go with something that you're like not familiar with, but just try it. And that's exactly what we're gonna do today. Okay, so enough theory, more practice. Let's do this. I always love like practical stuff. So this was kind of a baseline, right? One last summary in like 30 seconds. So basically, you can either prompt ChatGPT, or you can prompt it with more context, or you can prompt it with more context and all the, like, all of this context, all of these 24 building blocks. If you do that, you're kind of like at a next level. But then here's number 4, and that's what we're gonna do. You can take all of that detailed information from like the assistant and the prompt even, and then you generate brand new prompts based on that. Because you defined all of this, you said, what's the learning style? What's the profession? What's my current goals? Because you defined all of it, you're able to take that and just use this prompt that we open sourced, right? Prompt Factory, you take this, and as you can see, it's a long prompt. This is not going to be a prompt engineering lecture. But here at the bottom, basically, it's all of the details of the assistant, okay? So all of this, custom instructions 1 and 2. And based on everything you defined or the preset you picked, you're going to be able to generate the infinite amount of tasks that AI can do for that role. In other words, if you don't know what work AI can do for you, this answers it. And all you need to do is copy paste. So let's do that. So let's pick one that is kind of like close to home for me. Let's take the digital marketing manager. And guys, mind you, none of this is prepared, okay? This is like a fully live thing. You know, if anything doesn't go right, we're just gonna redo it. We're gonna troubleshoot as we go live. I'm gonna take your suggestions while we do it. And there you go, just reading chat. Amazing, okay. So let's start by testing out this Deck Factory, okay? Deck Factory. That was my YouTube show 12 years ago when I had a Magic the Gathering YouTube channel. Deck Factory. No, let's try out the Prompt Factory. Okay, so all you do is you go into this preset and you click copy to clipboard, okay? Then I go to ChatGPT and I say paste. Okay, look at this magic. I'm gonna take a sip here because we get to relax now because AI is kind of doing all the brainstorming for me now. Beautiful sound. Well, look at that. So this is the type of thing that, you know, in January 2023, all of Twitter was going crazy for, like, like, I'm giving you 100 prompts for free. But they weren't this high quality. And the problem with a lot of those was they weren't really tailored to the needs of a specific jobs. They were like generally just problem with a lot of prompts that you got back then, or like still to this date, is they're just like learning prompts, right? They're like, ooh, define, you know, like explain the AIDA model to me. It's like, what kind of task is that? It's like, if you're learning, it's fine. But like what you can see with these, they're all like outcome focused. Okay. So you have full access to this. And we're going to look at how to use it even more today, okay? So that's the first 28 prompts of the day generated. But the point here is these are all Magic the Gathering. Yeah, there should be a Magic the Gathering GPT. I like that. Destructibot, the cool name too. But yeah, basically the point is like the way to arrive at results with this is very outcome focused, right? This is not like, teach me about the basics of machine learning. Like, what kind of prompt is that? It's like, sure, if you're like studying that particular topic, then fine. But for most people, like, I would say a prompt needs to kind of achieve a result, get something done, right? It should be an item that appears on a to-do list naturally, right? And that's what this is set up to do. So if we look at these, right? If you're a digital marketer, again, remember, we're using the Digital Marketing Manager preset here. Basically, you can see that all of these, right? And by the way, the way to use this is you just look at the headlines, and if the headline resonates with you, then you start going into here. So basically, it would just be like, okay, if I'm a digital marketing manager for, let's say, a medium-sized company, let's say we have maybe 60 employees, and then maybe my marketing department is like 8 people, and I'm the manager, then in that context, would this be useful to me as a digital marketing manager? I don't know. Let's evaluate. Let's see if this actually works. So first of all, optimize campaign strategies. Okay, so certainly running campaigns, that would be good, right? Reviewing KPIs and Google Analytics. Yep, sounds good. Analyze consumer behavior. Well, that would certainly be helpful to guide my team, right? Craft data-driven plans. That's a kind of the ultimate like thing you're supposed to do, right? A month-long digital marketing plan for a type of product service, focusing on utilizing data-driven decision-making. So here, immediately my brain would just fire and say like, yeah, if I provide it with data in combination with this prompt, just get the best result possible, right? Weekly goals, chosen marketing channels, and projected outcomes. So as you can see, this is all like very like outcome, like results driven. This is not teach me about, the practice of crafting data-driven plans. No, it's like craft them, give me weekly goals, choose the channels for me, and all the projected outcomes. It basically gives you something that you could copy-paste and show to your boss and be like, this is what I'm thinking. It's a first draft, but this is my plan for the next month. What do you think? Do you agree with this direction? Like you could use it immediately. Okay, refined budget allocation. Sure, it can do that. We know that. Lead team dynamics. What is this about? Design a workflow for a digital marketing team working on a campaign for product. So it's so look, like all of these, and here I want your opinion. Like literally, like I was so excited about doing this live because I want your feedback. Is this any good? If you're a digital marketing manager, are these useful? Because to myself, I say, like, heck yeah, these are useful. These are exactly what you want if you're a digital marketing manager. Whereas a lot of the other prompts that I encountered, they're not that snappy. They're not that like, they don't produce results, while these do. That's what this has been set up to do, right? But that was only possible because like we went, and I'm not saying there's no other channels that give you results oriented prompts. Certainly there's many, but like I think there's a big difference between people just giving like educational prompts and this. And in my opinion, this is the highest level because like why are we using ChatGPT? We kind of like want to achieve results. We want to get stuff done, right? It's not just learning. While that is perfectly fine if that's your goal, but I think it's one of the big use cases, learning, but I think this is huge. Okay, so as you can see, all of these, in my opinion, are very useful. Again, open to anyone challenging me in chat, please. But I think this is absolutely amazing. But how do we go a step further with this? Well, we go a step further with this by actually customizing the input here. And look, I know it looks daunting, but that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here for you, live. I'm going to explain it to you. Basically, the way you want to, like, today, my goal for you today to walk away from this stream, like after the stream, is you're going to have understood what the prompt factory does, and you're going to have the basics of how to actually make it work for yourself or anyone in your company or anyone you know, right? It can be very, very useful. So here's the prompt factory for ChatGPT dummies guide or something. I don't know. You're just going to ignore all of this. Okay, This is the guide. You're gonna ignore all of this. First part, you're not even gonna worry about. You're not even gonna look at it, okay? If you want, you can. But like, just, just scroll past it. All I want you to focus on is this bottom part. What is this? This is the assistant I showed you before. This is a set of 24 building blocks that you can customize. Not just that. You could take, other presets. So if I go in here, you're going to see, all right, so this is 12. This is another 12. Perfect. So that's the web designer. But if I go to the copywriter, this is 12. This is another 12, right? All right. Same for all the other ones. And they all differ. They're all custom to the business strategy manager. So what can you do? Well, the simplest thing you can do is you can just pick different ones, right? And if you replace, let me see. If you replace this part, all of this with, just this, wait, I need to select it correctly. Yeah. If you replace this part with, let's say, the two parts to the business strategy manager, 1, 2, then it's going to generate prompts for you that are perfect for a business strategy manager. I think that's pretty clear to most people. But what else can we do? We can customize this stuff. Guys, look at that. We can actually click edit and make it our very own. And this is, this is where like some prompt writing skills definitely help. But basically you can say, I'm a digital marketing manager responsible for overseeing all digital marketing efforts and optimizing ROI across multiple channels. That's actually pretty applicable. Here's one that I would like you to focus on here. This goals. This is a big one. My immediate goal is to improve ROI for digital marketing campaigns. Long term, I'm to be recognized as a leader in the digital marketing field, and grow our company reach by 10% per year. You can be very specific. So my tip would be, be as specific as you can in these and just go through them and customize them to yourself. But look, this is just like a basic live lecture on this. I'm not going to go into customizing all these. I'm not going to be giving you all the nitty-gritty like ways to do this because it would just be too much. I already feel like we're covering a lot, right? We're like covering like all this, how it's set up. We're covering the prompt factory. We're going to cover even more, but basically you would want to go in here and customize this for yourself. So basically, one of them here is preferences. This is also an important one to customize. Collaborative and results-oriented work environments utilizing tools like Google Analytics and marketing automation platforms. So a great thing I could do here is be like, and buffer for scheduling, for example, and YouTube Studio for video analytics, right? So maybe I'll just remove Google tools like Buffer for post scheduling and YouTube Studio for video analytics. And maybe I'll just say up here, so we customize like literally like, what is it, 2 things now? And maybe up here, I'm going to say my goals to create an engaging and educational video content for our digital marketing campaigns. So now we made it more specific, right? Now my goal is creating educational video content for the marketing campaigns and not just like improving ROI. So it's becoming less of a marketing manager, more of a video marketing manager, right? And with these 2 simple modifications, right? That's it, right? And this is, you don't have to follow along. You just have to like check out what it does, right? That's why we're doing this. I'm just going to say save and submit. And now it's going to go ahead and regenerate 30 new prompts. And what we should see is more of a focus on the tools that I just gave it, Buffer and YouTube Studio, and more of a focus on video creation for our campaigns rather than ROI optimization. So let's see if it does that. Look at that. Create video content plans. There you go. Perform a deep analysis of the specific digital channel for the past time period. That's perfect. Leverage marketing analytics. So as you can see, It's similar. It's like a next door neighbor, right? What we just got, like all these prompts that we just got, they're like a next door neighbor to the previous one, because they're all still very marketing focused, and you still get generalist ones like email marketing and SEO and optimizing landing pages and stuff like that. But as you can see, some of these are clearly influenced by the slight customization we made, right? All we said is like, instead of Google Analytics, we're using YouTube Studio, and we're using Buffer for scheduling. Let's see if Buffer appears anywhere here. Yeah, utilizing post scheduling. Create a guide on effectively using post scheduling tools like Buffer for a specific campaign. Include best practices for timing. So that's really cool. It's like taking in our custom preferences, right? Our custom instructions are being not just accepted, but counted on, relied upon. So cool. And, you know, now we could get into kind of like the broader implications of this, because, guys, you can, like, I know many of you realize these, but some people who might be a bit newer, wait, I just need to find the switcher here. It's here. Okay. Some of you know, some viewers here might be a little newer to ChatGPT. I know we have a lot of like OGs here that have been using GPT-3 since, you know, before ChatGPT. We have a lot of people who are even beyond that, who are kind of like, there we go. So basically what I'm trying to say is we have people at all levels here, right? But I think it's important to kind of like go back to the basic level and just talk about like, what does this mean? Like, what does this mean? And what does having a framework like this mean for you long term as a user? Like, ultimately all of us are end users of these products, right? I'll tell you what, this framework that I just presented here, right? It's not the ultimate framework. Certainly there's other ways to doing this. But if you kind of commit, you know, an hour of time to kind of like working with this and customizing this, you can take it to any other large language model. You can take it to any consecutive evolution of ChatGPT, right? We built this for custom instructions, which was a feature that came out in, I think, August. No, it was late July, I think. But then GPTs came out, and we just ran it for a transformer prompt, and now we have GPTs based on these. And look, this is like version 1.0 of them, okay? What I'm saying is, this is a baseline, and you can build on top of it. It's a foundation for your AI knowledge. And this is really the way I look at it, because, you know, in spring, when somebody asked me like, Igor, I really want to get into AI. It seems like a lot. It's a super fast moving space. I always feel like I'm behind. How do I even start? I always used to tell people like, relax. It's actually less, like, using it is less intimidating than you think. It's quite intuitive, some parts of it. You just need a little bit of experience under your belt and you'll be fine. And you'll be ahead of like 98% of society very quickly, right? Because most people just like, actually like half the people haven't even tried ChatGPT. The other half, most of them just went in, they sent that simple prompt, maybe a few, maybe talked to it a little bit, didn't really get anything substantial, brushed it off, right? But then there's the people who try and who experiment and who kind of like make a point out of finding the use cases that work for them. But my point is that back in spring, I told all these people that, you know, just a little bit of experimentation, you'll be fine. I think we're beyond that. I don't think we're at that point anymore. Here, November 26th of 2023, I would argue that we're kind of at, like, you need everything you needed back in March, but you also need like 2 more layers on top to kind of even participate in a conversation that talks about the next possibilities, right? Because look, the next phase of this is autonomous agents and multi-agent frameworks, okay? And if you still like don't have the basics of you know, if you don't have your basic 10 like one-liner prompts that are useful to you, then it's going to be very hard for you to start wrapping your head around what a 6-agent team with custom instructions and knowledge bases and and actions. And each agent would have their independent actions, and they all work together. Like, that's not that simple anymore, right? You first need to understand, like, okay, what can ChatGPT? It's like exactly as OpenAI intended to roll out, right? You first need to understand how to use basic ChatGPT. Then you need to understand how to use ChatGPT in a more advanced way, aka what we just talked about, right? Start dealing with personas, you start dealing with context, you start like wrapping your head around like what kind of context does it like. And if you have those two, you can start looking towards, okay, what additional documents can I provide with it? Like, how do I use Code Interpreter? How do I use the knowledge base that we now have with GPTs? How do I implement custom actions, which you can just think of them as plugins that do a specific task? How do I integrate it into my company chat or my website or like things like that, right? Like, I created the no-code chatbot video a few weeks ago that shows exactly that, how you kind of do that. And then, and only then, can you start thinking about the concept of setting up autonomous agents for yourself. I would argue. I don't think you can just kind of go in and from day one just be like, oh, I'll just copy a preset and I'll like, oh, this agent's gonna do my work. I don't think that's reasonable. So, and these GPTs are kind of like the alpha version of what these agents will be, right? Very, 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 very primitive. The GPTs that we have right now inside of GPT-4, right? I think the promise is that it will find a lot of the context that it needs by itself. It will define the actions that it wants to do and can do by itself. It won't take like custom API integration for it to work. And if you have any questions along the way, I'm just like trying to explain like the levels to this. If you have any questions, drop them in chat. I'll answer them right away. I don't see any questions right now. Have you tested a specific prompt that worked for that task? Oh, he was asking Chad Lee up here. Yes, if you have any questions to me along the way, hit me. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I think we're at the point that like if people, and that's what I would say to people too, people that are interested in this stuff. If you're scared, like the most common fear in this space is like the fear of being left behind, right? Whether it's in your work or it's just the understanding of the technology or just being left behind because like all your peers will start using this and will just get ahead because they'll just have a big lever that they can pull in the form of like intelligence on demand, right? It's pretty powerful stuff. I would say, back in March, I was like, chill, like you have time. Now it'd be like, if you want to like ride this wave and if you want to use these tools and actually like use them, not just now, but in the coming years regularly in everything you do, it's time to get on board because the train is about to leave the station. That's what I would say. That's what I would argue. And I feel very strongly about this because once we start getting into, autonomous agent territory, which I personally just feel like we're very close to a level where they can be useful to everyday people. I don't think we're there yet. I think GPTs are a good start. But just like with plugins, I have yet to see a person who replaced like, I don't know, like a serious amount of their work with it. Like I'm talking like, I don't know, 20 to 30% of what they do, they just let the GPTs do. And I think that's a realistic evaluation. Maybe there's some edge cases, like if you're a data analyst, sure. But I think for most people, for most knowledge workers, right? We should narrow it down a little bit. I don't think we're at a point where GPT-4 and custom GPTs kind of do half your work. I don't think we're there yet. But I do think we're gonna get, to a point where it's like 20, 30, 40% for a lot of people. I think that's like a few months, maybe a year. At the pace of development of the last year, it's like 6 months, I would say. But like this is just me guessing. I'm just saying, like, if you don't catch up now, I don't think you're gonna be able to. It's gonna be a little overwhelming to stay on top of it. But hey, if you're in this live stream, you're probably already up to speed, right? So yeah, those are my thoughts on that. I hope that was valuable to some of you, but yeah, I spent Thanksgiving trying to get a tiny family to experiment, and half the population is scared. Yep, exactly right. Exactly right. I can share like 2 personal experiences from the past 2 weeks of my life. One was at Web Summit in Lisbon, and there was a talk. By the way, fantastic talk on AI, kind of AI automation replacing people's work, essentially. And there was one point, it was a 200 people audience, and there was one point in the talk where the speaker kind of asked a general question. And, these are people who spent like, I don't know, $600 to $1,000 for a ticket to go to a web conference where the main topic is AI, right? These are not like everyday, everyday people that kind of just try ChatGPT. This is a very techie audience, right? And he asked this general question of like, how many of you feel like AI can fully replace your job in the future, right? Very open-ended question. You know how many hands went up out of those 200, 250 people? It was like 4 hands. It was 4 hands, okay? Like, I was one of them. I'll say that. I was one of the hands. I'm like, in the future? Are you kidding me? That's like so open, right? But most people are like, yeah, no, there's no way like it can fully do my work. And then we kind of got into the discussion, or like he got into the discussion of how that could look and all the details. But that right there was just like a little shocking to me. I was like, I thought at least more people. I mean, let's do a poll in this chat. Like, how many people here think that AI could like fully replace their job within like 5 years, right? Let's just do that. And look, I know it really depends on what your job is, right? Yep, new poll is up. So could AI replace your job within 5 years? I would just say, it's obviously to a certain extent it's a bit of a silly question, but I just want to get your feeling on this. For me as a educator and content creator, heck yeah. Have you seen the new updates with ElevenLabs where you can use your voice to affect the intonation of the synthetic voice model? That's so good. Have you seen the newest iteration of what is it? Is it HeyGen, I think? Which is like the most realistic like AI video tool. What are your thoughts on upcoming AI conferences, meetings? I wish I had some recommendations, Mailcare. I'm sorry, I don't. Otherwise, I would have signed up and went. If you know of any conferences, let me know. I would love to go myself. But let's see what people think of the poll. Okay, so 50% say yes, 50% say no. See, that's a very different response from like 4 out of 200 people just saying yes. And I think that's fair. It sounds like a 50-50 for many jobs. I don't know. It's a very nuanced discussion, right? You like have to talk about a specific use case and what the roadmap for that looks like. All right, ElevenLabs is next level. Indeed, Carol. That's true. Can you elaborate around how the work replacement could look like and also the process there? Yeah, I think it's a good point. So I think it starts at the kind of like the thinking, right? So if you're talking, I don't know, I'll just take the example of like YouTube content creation because I'm familiar with that. But if you're talking like that job, it's a pipeline of like, I don't know, 15 steps or like 14 steps to create a video, right? But it always starts with an idea. And, I think that today, if you really make a point out of it and you feed it enough context, you can do a okay job of finding worthy YouTube video ideas with GPT-4. Like literally, if you give it like all the context, if you give it your channel analytics, if you give it screenshots of what's trending and latest trends, and you give it internet access and you give it all the data, and then you ask it to like give you ideas for new YouTube videos, I think that very first step of the pipeline can't be like fully automated. Now, given it's not smooth, it's not excellent, it's not like world class at it, and it's like what I described is a lot of work to set up. But that step already, like, dude, it takes one like update to the GPTs to make it like more intuitive and user friendly, and for it to gather the context itself, and maybe to access multiple websites at once and not always just one. And all of a sudden we're there, right? Like ideation for YouTube can like very well be replaced, right? And if you go a step further that, then it's like researching that idea. Well, you know, if it had access, if it could have a, inside of ChatGPT, if I could have a multi-agent framework where I sent out various researchers and channel manager, and they work together to kind of compile all the research and then create a script that is based on the 100 past transcripts of my channel, I think the preparation could be done too. And then the voice generation is I feel like with this new 11 lab updates, we're like kind of there, right? If you create a synthetic voice, if you haven't seen this yet, by the way, you have to check this out. It's you can use your voice to affect the tonality that you get from the voice synthesizer. So it's not just like assuming what you would speak like. You can literally give it the speech with another voice. It doesn't, right? So I could be like recreating, I don't know, any movie characters. I could take a Gandalf from Lord of the Rings, that comes to mind, voice synthesizer, and I could be essentially doing this, and then it would copy kind of the cadence there and the tonality. So I think that's like pretty much there. Now the video is pretty far off still, right? But once you solve the video and once you can make it like 98% as good as kind of the live image that you're seeing on screen right now, I think at that point you have the voice, you have the video, you have the script writing, you have the ideation. Then it comes down to the editing, and we're like getting quite close to a full stack AI replacement of a YouTuber, I suppose. So I hope that answers your question. Let's see. Yeah, Saber, I think this is are we really only 113 viewers? This also indicates where the general public currently stands with AI. That is such a good point, because if you look at the AI kind of niche, I think YouTube is a good indicator, right? For the broader public's interest. Literally, if you look at the generative AI niche, AI art, voice synthesizers, ChatGPT, then what's the addressable audience there? Well, it's a few 100,000 people, right? It's a few 100,000 people. That is like a city. That is like a smaller city, right? On a global scale. Like, think about how little that audience is compared to what waves this will make throughout society. So like literally everybody consuming this content right now is by definition ahead of the curve. Like, that's a fact already. But what I was talking about before, I just feel like the people that, haven't dove in and haven't like started educating themselves already, I feel like it's just a personal feeling, but I feel like we're somewhere like at this breaking point where you're not just going to be able to catch up with like a weekend's worth of binge watching YouTube content. Like, I really, once we enter like multi-agent frameworks where they can define the actions they take themselves, which I reckon is like months out from a consumer-friendly perspective. Yeah, you're not just going to be able to watch a few prompting tutorials and be like, all right, I got this. No. So yeah, I think that's shocking to me too. I agree. Video is getting better for sure. Absolutely. Yeah, it's getting closer. So I think the new Gen 2 motion brush is absolutely incredible. Like, that's the thing that we needed there. It's a big step forward in my opinion, because a lot of time you just want to move a selective part and leave other parts alone. So that's huge. Yeah, Pika Labs also pushing it. Exactly. Okay. Good. So I think that was a good, like, a bit of a detour and a general discussion. But let's move back to, generating prompts. And then I want to kind of talk about everything we created at the AI Advantage, because because it's a lot and it can get a bit messy, you know, between like, let's look at this free template, what it includes, right? Because I think most people aren't even aware of everything it includes. It's like, there's so much there. Okay, so if you open up this thing, like this is just grown with the company, the AI Advantage and everything throughout the year. But basically what you get here is, you know, you get 10 assistants that come in the form of either just assistants that you can copy paste into free ChatGPT. This would be just a custom instructions feature, right? This is first part, second part, and you're done. Then you get the GPT, which comes with a description, a name, the matching prompts, of course, and the GPT instructions, which you can just copy paste into the GPT interface. But then you also get the prompt factory, which is a way to generate all the prompts based on these custom instructions. So you could rerun this 10 times and you could generate 300 prompts. So, you know, again, I just love it so much. I'm just going to take the sales manager, open up a new chat, literally just post this. I'm just going to make sure my custom instructions are off. Oops. My bad. I'm just going to send this. And there you go. We're generating another 30 prompts. We're getting closer to the promise of this video, you know, generating 1,000 business prompts live. There you go. So we're above 100 already, I believe, right? So there you go. It's just doing this. So you get this in there for all of them. This is just a view of kind of everything in one. It's a bit messy. And you can always open them up and have everything underneath each other like that. Okay, so those are assistants, right? So like that's a lot already. Like that's a lot. But then beyond that, we have this prompt library, and this is just meant as a base. Like it's certainly great for inspiration, and you have, you know, several really like some of my favorite prompts in here. But you can use this as a base and you can expand this, because down here you have the personal prompt organizer. And basically what this allows you to do is you could save every single prompt you ever run into, or every single other prompt database or product or interesting prompt in here, right? So you can just like save it here, and then you can favorite stuff. And the cool thing about this is, if you look at these favorites, then right here. So if I favorite this one, it appears in the favorites. And what you can do then is you just drag these favorites to the top. So this is what I did with mine. Just drag it to the top. And right here, you have all your favorite prompts, right? Any follow-ups, any notes with it. But basically, this is just a super quick way to add custom prompts to a sheet that you can expand forever. And guys, this is meant as a framework that you can use for the next 3 years. This is not like a template that, you know, you use now. And no, if you get this, it's free. Just copy this over to your Notion and it just lives there. As long as Notion exists, which it will, and otherwise it's easily transferable into other stuff. But because like you get a database of your own of all your AI related knowledge. So what this really was meant as is a starting point and a framework for you to expand with your personal prompts, with your personalized GPTs, all that. You can put it all in there. It's all yours. There's one downside to this. One downside to the fact that it's like all yours and you have full ownership of it is that if I update something, so let's say, you know, I just move these favorites up. If you're going to look into your template, it's not going to show that. So, it doesn't auto update. So you would have to go and like duplicate it again. And that's why it's accessible through by signing up to the newsletter. And whenever we ship an update to this, just going to get a quick email that, you know, there's a new version of it and you can duplicate that again. But it doesn't auto update, and that's an important one. And yeah, that's basically it. So you have all the functionality with the assistants in here. You have prompts, you have follow-up prompts, which are very underrated, I would say, because like some of this stuff is these are some of the most powerful functionalities. Like just this one, it's that simple, right? You just say, but why? This little trick unlocks a lot already, right? You prompt something and, but why? But why? You can be that inquisitive little child that is annoying all the grown-ups with, you know, always asking, but why, or why? So this is a very powerful follow-up prompt, and just, there you go. So you can reset the context like so. Very, very strong. You have some transformation prompts. And then you have like styles. And most people don't, I found that most people don't know that you can, for example, apply magazines. You can say in the style of Vogue. You can say in the style of Fyodor Dostoevsky, right? And then it does that. Most people know that about the authors, but they don't know it about the brand voices, for example. And people don't know that you can say in the style of Harley Davidson, for example, right? So all of this is just meant as a base because you can always go into like click these databases here and just extend it. All right, so that's this. Now we had a broad overview of, assistants, GPTs, prompts, follow-up prompts, but we also talked about kind of where the AI space is heading. Like it's clearly heading toward the multi-agent type future where you're going to have not just one GPT. You're going to have a version of GPTs that is like 5 times more capable, maybe 10 times more capable, where it kind of defines its own actions. And then you're going to be able to hire multiple. Okay. So it's not going to be like, hey, copywriter GPT, please write me a landing page. It's going to be like, hey, marketing manager, this is the new product I'm developing. Here's, some mock-ups. Here's some details. Please plan the entire launch for me. And then it's going to create a landing page, a social media strategy. And it's going to spawn all these different agents with specialty capabilities that are tied into your Canva account, that are tied into your Google Sheets for organization, that are tied to your Zapier to create some of the automations or just do stuff, right? And then it's going to run for an hour or two or all night or whatever. And in the morning, you're going to come back and it's going to be like, yep, Igor, your task has been completed. Here's your campaign. Here's a folder with, 40 files. We have a pre-written email campaign. We prepared 20 social media posts for you. That's where we are heading, okay? So that's what the GPTs are first step towards. But for you to really make use of that, you need to start like collecting your thoughts and your use cases in one place. That's why we're providing the template. Okay, there you go. Let's take some questions and then let's move on. How much to purchase the prompts? They're free. This is free. Next up, we're gonna talk about our products. Because there's basically like richer versions of this. But this template is completely free. You have a link in the description. Updating the template here does not automatically update it in Notion, right? You would need to manually make any updates or changes in your Notion workspace. Yeah, so I'm providing the master template here. So what you've seen on screen right now, if I edit something and the new person, signs up to the newsletter, or you go to the link that you received by signing up to the newsletter, you will see the updated master version. But once you click duplicate, because what happens is like when you get the link, you get it, and like the guide and the way to use Notion is like first thing you do is you duplicate it to your own Notion. As soon as you duplicate it, your copy of it doesn't auto-update anymore. So if you go back to the master and you would reduplicate that, you would have a new Notion template in your Notion with the updates, but like the original one you duplicate it over, it doesn't update. I hope that makes sense. That's why every time I make an update to the master, I just send out the email saying, there's an update to the free Notion template. Same for our products. Every time we update the products, for the business blueprint, we shipped like 5 updates over the last month, I think, or something. Yeah, 5 updates over the last 2 months. Anyway, I sent out an email with like, hey, the master has been updated. Feel free to reduplicate it. And then what you would need to do is, the cool thing, well, let me just quickly show you. So, the obvious problem is like, okay, Igor, but like you're telling me to customize these, but then like if you ship a new version, it's like, it's conflicting, right? So a few things, like you could just keep multiple versions in your sidebar, right? Like look at that. I have like so many, it would just look like this. But then also a second option is because this is all database based. For example, if I extend my prompt database, it's as simple as this, right? Like literally, I just copy this. No, I would just right click, and I could just say, hey, dear, move to, right? And then I kind of pick the new sheet, and I just move it to the new one. So that's how simple it is, right? I could even click like this to select it all. So if you have your personal prompt database here, you could just do this, say move to, and you just move it over to the new database. So there it's slightly helpful to like name these because then it will be easy to identify. But there you go. So I hope that clarifies that. It's a good question. That's why I love doing these lives because, welcome to the YouTube membership where you essentially buy me 1 coffee a month for being a part of it. I appreciate it. Good to have you here, Matthew. Um, okay. There are AI digital marketing tools that can do that right now for $100 a month. There are still so many gaps. Yeah, there you go. But that's why, that's why I'm here. I think, like my concept is always just creating something cool or discovering, or like whenever I discover something really unique and useful and cool, I want to share it. But then I put in like 100 hours of work to kind of flesh it out into everything it can be. So, with this, you're getting everything you need. But, if you're like, hey man, this is really great, but I just wish I had more than 10 assistants, right? Like I just don't want to, I don't want to customize. I want like 100 of them. Well, that's where you enter our products, because essentially with the business blueprint, we're going to have 1,000 of these within like 2 weeks. Right now it's 650. You're going to get a free update to 1,000, but that's basically, you have everything here. We're not gatekeeping the prompt factory or something like that. You have everything here, but if you just want more, just go to the link on the screen and you can check out the bigger kind of packs. By the way, Black Friday sales are live this weekend, right? So there you go. That's my little sales pitch. But yeah, essentially, I think that's the way to go. Okay. Yeah, there you go. Customization, that has been answered. Can I buy the corporate section only? Yeah, absolutely. Actually, we just opened, I just changed it. So now we have these specific blueprints. So if you just want the corporate workers, they're at a lower price, and you can just get those. So they're available at the store. I believe for Black Friday, yeah, you have a special offer on them right now. But yeah, so the way it works is we have corporate, entrepreneurship, and marketing. There's 100 of each. And then we have the business blueprint, which essentially is all of them. It's all of them, right? So no needs. So if you just want all of it, if you want all 660, soon to be 1,000, then you can just get this on the. Yeah, there you go. Sean Ralston, thank you. Testimonial. What you giving a live testimonial animation? You're the man. Okay, so let's see what you got to say. Blueprints are worth 100x what Igor is charging. I work for OpenAI, and we use many of these as exemplary starting points. His blueprints highlighting GPT-4 capabilities. Dude, are you serious? What? Wait a minute. I gotta. This is the best like testimonial I could hope for, man. I appreciate that. I'm gonna screenshot that. Man, much appreciated. And thank you for the $10. Yeah, it was like, honestly, it was a shit ton of work. Sorry for swearing, but it was so much work. It was so much work to put all of this together. But there you go. Yeah, that's just, I appreciate that, Sean. Really, thank you for the kind words. When is the blueprint, business blueprint sale live until? So the current plan is to keep it live until the end of today, right? Because Black Friday weekend is running out. But I think we'll keep it up we'll probably keep it up for Cyber Monday too. So there you go. So probably till tomorrow. But yeah, that's really cool, man. I'm still kind of stoked on that testimonial, man. I appreciate that. Any other buyers, please express your honest thoughts. This is like unmoderated chat, essentially. You can just share your thoughts. If you think it's really, it really sucks, please say it. If you have any feedback on how to improve it, please share that too. And if you're really excited about how well it works, we got some like incredible DMs too throughout the last few days, which I loved. But yeah, please just share like your honest feedback. We're trying to make this as good as possible. But as you can see, you have essentially everything that you have with the 10 free assistants, but times like 100. Right, so you just have 50 different professors here. You have 100 different entrepreneurs. All of this in one, plus you get the future updates. Plus there's, I'm so proud of this product. Plus there's like a video course that teaches you everything step by step. Customization and the GPT integration. Some of these are a bit outdated because they're from last month and the GPT's update came. So, just have a bit of patience. But I already updated video 1 and 2. Video number 7 and even 5, 6 are very current. yeah, basically you get a mini course, you get the whole thing, but just like with the other one, you get the prompt factory for free. So yeah, okay, that's basically it. That's enough of the business blueprint. Now, let's talk about how to kind of go beyond just generating prompts for yourself. So, we talked about these like different levels of ChatGPT usage and understanding, right? So, okay. Good discussion here in chat. Keep it coming. Any questions? I'm open to it. So basically, how do you go further, right? Like, how do you? Because I think that's the topic of today. Like, yes, we titled like creating 1,000 business prompts, and now we did like 150 or something or whatever, and I think you get the point there, like how to do that, right? Plus, the latest video kind of explains it in more detail. But I think the real question is like, how do you stay up to date on all this? I think it's this. I think it's what we're doing right now. It's like communicating. It's keeping an open line of inquiry. It's if you have questions, you can share them in chat. There's other people in chat answering. So it's not just me answering, but there's other people. So I think the ultimate answer on how to stay on top of all of this and how to stay in the top 1% of society in terms of generative AI everyday usage. I think the only answer to that question, that's what I realized this year, is community. It's literally the only answer. Everything else, like I spent like, what was it, 2.5 months no-lifing it, creating the course, putting it together, step by step, like how to prompt, how to come from, what one-liners you want to start with, and then how to go from a one-liner to like a long prompt and, deconstruct that and then like mix and match the building blocks. And I gave you the full like recipe to that and presets, how to transform, how to stylize your text, what are the limitations of ChatGPT. But still, even the people that went in there, they paid the price. They put in the time to go through it. Like I see that most of the people they don't watch every video, and it's like been set up in a way. There's so many like little tips and tricks in between that you kind of like, you should watch every video, right? But you can't force the people to do that. So plus then like OpenAI Dev Day happens, right? And they're just like, well, the entire interface that you were used to and that you built your last like 100 videos on top of, Igor, it changed, right? Now you like have to access things differently. We're multimodal now, so you're not just prompting GPT-4, but you're prompting GPT-4 with DALL-E and Code Interpreter enabled by default. So it's like, so what's the option there? Now, what's the option there to stay up to date and keep using these things? Even in terms of like the YouTube library that I have built up here, right? Well, I think it comes to two things. I would say 80% of the materials, 80% of the prompting tutorials that I created back in like January or December last year, I think they're still 100% relevant, right? Like if we're talking about how to stylize text or how to copy your own style and analyze your own writing style, tone, and voice, I think that's timeless, right? It doesn't matter if it's like multimodal or if we're prompting Llama or Claude or ChatGPT 4. But certain things change, right? Like all of a sudden you have DALL-E and Code Interpreter and GPT-4 all mixed into one thing. So for example, the video in the course where I covered the interface, where I toured the interface, well, that's completely outdated now. So I'm working on reworking some of those. Moving forward, obviously, on the YouTube channel, everything has to be with the new interface, and we're covering that. But the point I'm trying to get across is it's really hard. Like if you want to stay informed and you want to stay up to date, it's not an option to go ahead and spend another 2.5 months now re-recording every video on the course just because the interface changed. But it did change, right? So what's the fix to that? The fix to that is checking in regularly and coming in regularly and just reviewing what changed and just clarifying like what I just did. All the prompting related lessons we had on this channel, still 100% relevant. But now the model has some extra capabilities. You can do data analysis. You can generate images. You can attach a knowledge base with the GPT. You can have it do actions. You can all of a sudden start combining plugins and browsing and Code Interpreter at once. So everything that we learned one by one, you can start, doing it at once. And here's some examples of how that looks, right? So exactly what we did here, like in this stream, right? I went ahead and showed you how to generate these prompts, which would be like extremely useful in Spring, but it's even more useful now because you can go ahead and do something, develop a step-by-step guide on optimizing CRM software for tracking specific sales metric, include best practices for data entry analysis and reporting relevant to our sales teams. Well, guess what? If I take this prompt, right, and I just open up the base GPT-4 model that has DALL-E browsing data analysis enabled, well, now I can attach our sales data to this, for example, and I could say maybe we're looking for tracking I don't know, bounce rates, and I could upload a file that includes the bounce rates plus I could just give it the data set essentially, right? This is something we couldn't have done back in like March. This prompt would have been like, this would be really nice to have, but you didn't have this feature. You couldn't attach stuff, meaning this prompt would be way less useful. So clarifying these kind of various use cases and talking about them as they happen, as the system develops, is literally like the only way to stay on top of all this. Meaning that any pre-recorded material is valuable at that point in time and moving forward as long as it applies. And the course is super valuable still. We got the best feedback from people like enrolling in that, especially for like people who are at ground level. Like really the 4-hour video course, it lifts you up to a level where you not just can hold a conversation, but you already have custom use cases that you like build for yourself, because that's what it takes you through. It's the step-by-step process from going from a one-line prompt to like a long one. But then beyond that, for all the people who already have that knowledge, it's like there's no point in updating the old videos just because there's a new interface and there's some new capabilities. Like that's not the way you stay on top of this. The way you stay on top of this is actually by checking into a live session, just like this one, and discussing these ideas. And ideally, even in more of a collaborative form. That's why I'm encouraging questions so much and answering them, because I think that's the ultimate way. If OpenAI Dev Day happens, heck, let's go live right after. Let's discuss everything that happened there, what implications this has for the stuff we're using already. And then you can go ahead and learn it yourself. So this is my current and I think final belief in terms of AI education. I think the only way to do this properly is a regular stream of newly processed information that is up to date and communicated straight to you in a setting where you can actually ask questions back. So like the ultimate version of that would be like a weekly 1-hour consulting session, right? Where you're like, all right, this is what you need to know exactly for your use case. But that's not really scalable, right? Like there's no way I can do like weekly consulting sessions for 131 people, right? It's just not possible. It's like, that's it. Like if I had, just think about that. That would be 131 hours a week. I don't have that many hours. So the way to do it is, one to many. But the beautiful thing is, like if I look at the chat, there's like so many smart people in there sharing their ideas, answering each other. Like, it's amazing. This is the way, right? New stuff happens. We go live, we discuss it, we take an hour of time, and then we move on with our life. And in just like an hour or two a week, you can stay up to date on everything. And if not, you can check out a summary of the event, ideally, right? This, what I described to you right there, is kind of the very rough sketch of what I envision the future of the AI Advantage to be. It's a community setting where the AI Advantage team digests everything and brings and spoon feeds it to you with summaries on the back end if you didn't have time to like participate in the live events, and a lively community that helps each other and shares what they find, because there's just too much to digest for one person. It's impossible. You need like 10 brains to process everything that is happening in the AI space. I think certain people are absolutely killing it. Shout out to a friend of the channel, Matt Wolf. That man isn't just genuine and honest, but he's also super concise. I love how in like 20 minutes he can cover all the craziness that happens in a week. But the problem is, the one problem with that format is that it's not customized to your own needs, right? So if you have a question, you can ask, like it's one to many, right? It's one YouTuber to many viewers, right? And I think this format of having like 100, people in a room talking to each other, it's just more custom. It's like it's this space between, pre-recorded video is over here. It's certainly useful, no doubt in that, right? One-on-one consulting is over here. And then like community sits somewhere over here, where you can get very close to one-on-one interactions, where you get one-on-one interactions all the time. And it also holds you accountable. It's always up to date by definition, because if you have a live chat or an event that is happening live, then by definition it's up to date, right? If the people do their job. So yeah, that's where I see it evolving into. And why did I say all that? Well, because first we explored the business blueprint, and we talked about what that can do for you, and I showed you the free template, everything, all the possibilities there. Then we talked about the course. I really wanted to talk about that since a while, because I strongly feel about how valuable that has been for some people, and it's a great course. But then beyond that, like we're using, this is my point here, we're using the course, and this is the first time I'm announcing this or saying this publicly, I think. We're gonna use the course to transition into a community over time. There's already a community attached to the course, but the Discord hasn't been a priority for the brand, I would say. A lot of we have a very vibrant AI art community in there. That's excellent. But in terms of prompt engineering and ChatGPT and that course, where the hub for the community was really the live events I was doing regularly. If you didn't know, for the last, is it 5 or 6 months? I don't know. I think it's 5 months. I think I started in June. I think I started early June. Since early June, I've been running bi-weekly live events like this. They're usually like 60 to 90 minutes, just like this. And I've been running bi-weekly events, always on like the newest things in ChatGPT. And that basically has been one of the best like learning experiences I had. So this is the learning from today. Like, if you want to stay on top of all of this, I don't think just watching YouTube is enough. I think you have to be a practitioner. I think you have to go in and try some of these concepts yourself. But I also think like the ultimate level would be you being a part of a group of people that share those values. Now, I have nothing to offer. I have nothing to sell here. I'm just saying over the next few months, that is the direction I will be taking the AI Advantage in. And that is what everything is going to be pointing towards. If you want to be early part of that, the course membership is kind of a early access ticket to it, because from within the course community, from within the live events that we've been running there, we're upping the frequency to 1 event a week. And we're going to be taking it step by step then there. But basically that's the direction. So, what to expect? Expect more live streams, expect more events, expect more product updates, expect more YouTube videos, everything that has been working. But moving forward, the focus, instead of developing new products, is going to be more on building a community where the hive mind can keep you on top of all of things AI. So that's basically the direction right now. I really wanted to share that. Yeah, and basically everything I mentioned can be found on the store. On the bottom left of the screen, you have a link. I built this myself. Pretty proud of it, to be honest. Here's everything in the store. Here you have the business blueprint. Here you have the prompting course. Here you have all the smaller packs. One thing that's confusing is like these smaller packs, they're included in the business blueprint. I have to kind of change the image to make that clear. But basically, if you buy the business blueprint, then, these are all included. All right. Enough product talk, enough future of the AI Advantage talk. But I wanted to communicate that. I thought that was really important. Okay, let's talk like roadmap for learning, right? Because that's what this was about. Let me catch up on some questions, and then let's talk about a roadmap for learning ChatGPT. Okay, a free roadmap. Okay, so sure, like the products outlined, they kind of do some of that for you, but hey chat, does he have a Discord channel or anything for discussions? Yes, but as I said, like the thing that happens in the Discord mainly is AI art. So all the AI art enthusiasts, that's their home. They use Midjourney and everything. Okay. Nice, interesting. Simple online community. Yeah, so one thing that I have to point out, just as a, the community is not gonna be, it's gonna be a premium thing, like for sure. I wanted to, like, it's already started, but like we're going very slowly and very step by step, and I'm like literally like talking and interviewing every person that I let in. Right now it's team only, right? So as of today, it's only team members that I actively have a business relationship with. But over time, it will, you will have to apply, and then it will not be cheap. Because like, that's the way it has to be. That's the way it has to be, because then we can have 10 people working for you and digesting all of the AI space for you. That's the vision. Okay, so just so you know, so if you're looking for, a free community, then we're here. We're here. Like this live stream would be it, right? Yeah, there's no like, look, there's no like fixed way to kind of join the community right now. I'm kind of just like teasing what the direction is. And if you're a part of the course, you can join the weekly live events for the next 3 months. So probably it's probably going to be like 3 weeks of the month, and 1 week we do 2. But because Christmas and stuff, but basically if you're interested in that, the course is kind of, course people are going to be my first stop to talk to there, right? No, you have to stay tuned. There's no waitlist, nothing. Like I'm literally, this is like 2024 stuff that I'm kind of teasing here. How does this come into play with existing course members? It's a good question. So existing course members get the course, obviously, plus all the updates, plus all the events. And eventually, if you're a part of the weekly events, you already know this. If you watched, if you're showing up to the bi-weekly events, you already know this. But we basically, I guess I can just openly say it. We extended like a application form. I think it was a week ago or 2 weeks ago to the most active, bi-weekly event participants. So if you participate in those events, then you'll be essentially kind of first in line. I guess that is kind of, but like no promises there, right? Like literally, only thing I'll say is everybody who gets the course or who got the course is over the next 3 months just gonna receive more and more, right? Like you're just gonna get more value, more live events, recordings of that, resources, and more. Anyway, so I hope that answers that. Grüße aus Deutschland. Hallihallo. Das ist doch schön. Yeah. By the way, I speak English, German, Slovak, un peu français. I have a bit of French, I don't know. Yeah, Carol, you bought the course at the beginning. For real, yeah, you've been there since all the way in the beginning, man. So good to have you around. Yeah, so all right. So that's all the Black Friday stuff. We're gonna have the sales live till end of today, maybe end of tomorrow. That's what I would say. And can multi-agents help with learning and community? Not sure what you exactly mean there. We've certainly have been covering like auto GPT prompting in the course. Daniel Pierce with the German answers. I like it. How can we train GPT with personal large data, like advanced translation rules for a specific language, and make it better than Google Translate for a specific language? Whew, that's a hard and very specific question that I haven't been attempting to solve myself. So, any thoughts about? So, yeah, that's a tough one. I'll tell you this about translation. From my experience, it's really good at translating. It's really good at translating from English, and not that good at translating to English, because its base level understanding of like foreign languages is just not as deep as it is in English. So, you know, when you have English as the base, you can think of it that the language model really understands the meaning and has a better chance of predicting the next token correctly when it has that deep understanding of the input. So when you're going from English to, I don't know, German, you will find you get better results than going from German to English. Because in the latter case, you're relying upon its body of knowledge in the German language, which is just not that deep, meaning its predictions, its token predictions are not going to be as accurate as when you're going English to German. So I hope that helps. That's kind of a little tip, but I know that doesn't answer a question. That's a very specific use case. Maybe somebody else in chat can help with that. Any thought about live meetups? That'd be amazing. I'd like it. I was thinking about doing it from the email list because, yeah, maybe one day. I love the idea. I love the idea. I'll just say that. Conferences definitely would be great. Are you still creating 1,000 prompts? Well. Good point. Let me create another. Let me create some more here. So here's a cool thing I wanted to try live. Okay, so we'll do one more live demo, answer some questions, and then I think we'll run it out because it's been 1.5 hours. But I think this could be really cool. Okay, so let's build a custom GPT that where the job is to create more prompts. Okay, so we'll call this like Igor's prompt. I don't know. Let's find a funny word that is not like Harry Potter related. I don't know. I'm just gonna go with what I named the product, like Igor's Prompt Factory. All right. So let's see. So let's use just one of these. So for example, the innovation strategist. Just go over to GPTs. This makes it really simple. So actually, you know what? We're gonna kind of use the product as intended. We're gonna go in here and we're gonna look for. I'm gonna go to the YouTubers. And then I'm going to search for AI just as a keyword. Wait, why is the search not firing right now? Okay, so... Wait. There's some sort of... What's going on? I never had this before. Just try again. Ah, there you go. Now it works. I don't know why that was confused. Okay, so just go to YouTubers. Okay, all assistants. There you go. AI. This is the best way. So you just go to all assistants. I just search for AI. And then in the YouTubers category, I could be like, okay. AI prompt for content creation analyst. Perfect. This is very nice. This is very nice. So what we're going to do is we're going to just copy these GPT instructions. All right. We're going to head on over here, paste them in here. I'm going to have my short description because why not? And then here's the cool thing. I'm going to, like, this is a thing I've been experimenting with. You just copy the prompt factory as the conversation starter. And then basically you have... Actually, you don't even need this. You don't even need these instructions. But what would be useful is, this is just an example. But for example, if I go to the free template, let's cook something up. And if I'm like, which ones would be well, I would kind of need like specifics here. But what you could do is you could go ahead and you could export the content. You could go to this database. If you have your custom prompts, right? You could kind of just export the content of that as a PDF, like so. Let's see if we can. I don't really want to do that with my personal prompts because they're not focused enough. They're all over the place. But you could essentially do this, right? You could okay, so just take this as inspiration, right? But you take the PDF of your personal prompt database here, then you upload that to the knowledge base over here. Oh, I need to unzip it. There you go. This is the PDF. There you go. So this can read already, right? So I just boom, like so. So now it has my personal prompts. And now we can actually test it, right? We can actually test it. So this would just be a GPT that literally runs this one prompt and has my prompt database. So this is very basic, right? But we don't need DALL-E. We don't need code interpreter, I think. And we don't need web browsing. We don't need custom actions. And we could disable the improvements. All right. So just thinking about it, like just like this, you could create like one of the most basic. I'm going to just create this for me. But basically, we created like a prompt generator that is accessible with one click, right? Boom. There you go. And that's pretty cool. So now it's gonna, like, every time I hit that button, it's gonna spit out 30 new prompts for... Which one did we use? For the... It was in here, right? It was here, AI prompt for content creation analyst. Okay. So like so, if you use the prompt factory, you don't even need the instructions, the custom instructions for the GPT or your base model. All right. So now it's creating all these prompt analysis, content creation prompt analysis prompts. God, really meta, huh? When do we use custom actions? Whenever you want to interface with apps outside of the interface. So again, the best way to think about it is just think of them as plugins. So, you know, if you want to access the weather data, then you can activate an action that kind of accesses the weather data. Whenever you want to, you know, interact with a database, you can use actions to do that. There you go. Continue. So there we go. We created another 30, right? So this is an alternative way to use it, where you just like, that's how I like. So I have another OpenAI account where I kind of experiment a bit more. This one is kind of like the public demo one. But yeah, as you can see, I kind of like to create these like different, like, I create and then delete them again and everything. But basically you could integrate this. And that just makes me think. What else could we do with this? Okay, so this preset just generates like 30 content creation prompts. That's pretty cool. But what if I gave this more context that is relevant to it? So instead of just being like, all right, so here's some of my prompts. And this is the thing, this is where you kind of need to get a little creative. Like, what could be relevant to this content creation thing? Well, I'm not going to do this live because I don't want to, yeah. I could give this all of my YouTube analytics, right? And if I give this all of my YouTube analytics, including the performance of the various videos and click-through rates and all the relevant data, the prompts that I would be getting would be more, heck, let's do this live. Let's do it live. I'm just gonna do it off screen. yeah, I don't know. Analytics are a bit private, aren't they? So let me just, on my second screen, I'm just gonna pull up some of my YouTube analytics and put them in here, and we're gonna review the differences in results, okay? So in here, I'm already at it. Export current view. All right, so in the last 28 days, we're gonna download a CSV. Nice. So this is literally like live experimentation, right? As I said, like none of this is scripted, none of this is prepared. Let's see how this goes. But basically, I have a table with video views and click-through rates and stuff like that. And then I'm gonna upload that into the knowledge base of this prompts for content creation generator. This is interesting. This is a combo I never tried before. Okay, so let's think about it. We have a prompt that generates 30 focused content creation prompts. Okay. And we gave that assistant access to all of our YouTube analytics data. Okay. What does this mean? Like, the assistant should effectively be able to access the data, to make sense of it, and to generate content creation prompts that are specific to my content. And if not, we'll need to prompt it to do that. So I would say, let's just, this is the way I always do everything. I always take it one step at a time and test. So basically that allows you to kind of, you know, identify problems as they emerge, as opposed to just doing everything in one. So I would say, let's just save this and let's see if it can. Maybe I would just say, use the table data to improve the prompt recommendations that you make. There you go. That's good. That's good. Very basic, but let's do this. Okay. Let's go into this GPT. Let's run this again. Let's see if we get different results based on the custom input here. Doc Rock, good to have you here, man. You're absolutely proving my point why live is often better than scripted. Heck yeah. Yeah, I love this. Especially a lot of this is so experimental, right? Like there's no one right answer. I love doing this live. So let's see. While this generates, let me read some comments here. Aloha, Doc. I love it. Can AI pull questions out of live chat feed for you? Haven't attempted that yet. That's actually a great idea. I really like that idea. Like kind of like an AI assistant that highlights the best ones. That's kind of cool. Yeah, I'll work on that. Will the custom GPTs and AI assistants that get created later in the business blueprint use the newly launched custom GPT feature? Yeah. So the GPTs in the product, they're presets for GPTs. So that's literally what they are. They're a preset for every field. Party in Portugal, geil, Alter, ich bin dabei. Yeah, sounds good. That's so cool. All right. So we're almost done here. I think it generated everything we need. I think I missed it. Where can I find the updated prompt template in Notion? So if you're a newsletter subscriber, you receive the email with the updated link. If not, just resubscribe. Yeah. Okay. Linking the analytics API. Actually, I would say no, it wouldn't in this case, because it doesn't. I prefer the finer control that comes with actually giving it a table of only the data you picked. So for example, what I did here is I hid the column with like the revenue data, and you can basically like clean it up because it's not very good at doing that itself. If you just give it the analytics API, it's just gonna take in it's too much info. It's too much info. So let's have a look. Maybe this didn't work at all, right? But like let's have a look at this is actually if it considered some of the info, some of the analytics that we gave it now for more custom results. Let's see. No. So see, this is, there you go. It doesn't seem like it really made a difference here. It's just my first intuition here. And that's the thing with these new features. They're kind of like, they're an alpha version of what it's supposed to be. Like, think of it as, you know, internet browsing back in May or something. It's like, it's the first version of what this could be. So even though I included in the instructions that it should consider the table data in crafting these prompts, it didn't. I have one more idea. Okay, I have one more idea. So we won't give up easily like that. Go to edit GPT, configure, and I'm gonna include these instructions in the prompt. Now, it will be a bit messy to do that in here, but as I kind of know it by heart by now, I know I need to, oh my God, this is really not a great way to do this. Okay, let's do it up here then. There you go. That's overwhelming, huh? But I know what I'm looking for. I know exactly what I'm looking for. So down here, I'm looking for preferences. I'm just gonna like tell it to use YouTube Analytics in some of these AI prompts based on analytics. AI platform. Based on his analytics. There you go. There you go. So that right there, always use the table data provided YouTube Analytics to improve the accuracy of your outputs. My bad. Always good to have Grammarly on, by the way. Wouldn't make a difference, but like I like Grammarly in here. What else could we put in here? Just very, very simple, very simple. There you go. Accuracy and relevance of your outputs. Act as a prompt generator. No, wait, we don't want that. Wait. Sole purpose is generating prompts for an AI YouTube creator. Here it's important to always include the generative, because this I learned over time. It's when you just say AI, it goes more towards the machine learning side of things as opposed to user-focused tools. YouTube creator, always use the table. Relevancy of your outputs. Good, so let's see if that does the trick. Very, very simple and quick fix right there, but let's see if it does that. Be great. So let's see if it can create some prompts that include the data in the knowledge base. Let's see. Okay, it's closer, but I don't see anything from within the. And see, this is the problem right here. This is the problem right here. This is why I'm saying these GPTs are very. This is like the first version of what this is going to be, because a lot of times it ignores the stuff you upload into the knowledge base. A lot of times the actions that you link it up with, they just don't work reliably sometimes. It's all the problems that we have with plugins, with like you need to predefine in advance what exactly it's going to be, and then you kind of like need to include it in the instructions, and then sometimes it doesn't even use it while it should. It's like this is a very primitive version of the agents that we'll have access to in a few months, I reckon. So let's see what it generates. I'll catch up on comments. Yeah, we could definitely, YouTube chat API. We could definitely use that and use and build our own assistant to go through that. Email copywriting GPT. Please tell me how to do it in custom GPTs. Yeah, so like one way for email copywriting GPT, one good thing you could do is to this like knowledge base, you upload various like on each page you kind of like number, like say like email 1, and the second page email 2, and then you include your own emails, and then you write a prompt that references that and says basically I don't know if this is getting too advanced or whatever, but basically you use multi-shot prompting to reference the PDF in the knowledge base. This is why I'm saying like you guys see, like, you know, like it's, you can't just kind of, yeah, it's becoming harder and harder to stay on top of all these things as a consumer. But basically you would want to upload examples to the knowledge base, or you could even hard prompt it into the instructions of the GPTs, but you're limited to like 8,000 tokens, so that's not going to work. So you upload examples of various emails you've written to the knowledge base, and then in the instructions you define that, you know, pull in these as examples, and then you give it the tone and the style and the voice that you kind of want it to use in the instructions, and then you let it write the email. That would be the baseline. So that's one of the best things you can do. You define the tone and the voice you want it to have. You give it multiple examples of previous emails you wrote, and then you let it write the copy in your emails. That's kind of, and plus you try the variation there with the copywriter. So I would definitely go in here and actually this is like the most popular public GPT we have. You could try running it in here and see if the answer is better. I'll just share a link in chat. There you go. I hope that answers your question. And then you just compare. You just look at the results and you're like, okay, is this any better than what I had or not? Most likely the answer will be yes. And then you just kind of, you save that progress, or you use. That's why the database is great. You kind of like put a pin in what you did, and then next time you want to go a step further, you have the starting point, but it's not 0 anymore. You kind of established a new baseline for the quality that you can get. All right. Natural language code formatter. Yeah, those exist though. I mean, GPT-4 is a natural language code formatter, right? Just kind of input what you're looking for, it spits out the code. Okay. User to be used in a knowledge base rather than having to download the entire URL. Yeah, I found like what do you exactly mean by that, Aditya? I hope I pronounced that correctly. Like upload a PDF with like multiple URLs. The thing is, like, whenever I can, I try to avoid browsing. I think one really good use case for browsing is just having a little GPT that every day just gives you news updates and just scans the internet. And then if you just run like the prompt like 2-3 times, you get like a really great, super concise summary. That's a great use case for internet browsing. But for everything else, I essentially try to avoid it because it's like super unreliable and it always takes like one source instead of like reviewing like 10 sources and picking the best one. And it seems to be kind of like a bit random in what source it picks, right? Sometimes it's a really great one. Sometimes it's like, why did you even pick this? It's not great. So I try to avoid using URLs, but I'd be interested in you elaborating on what you sent there. I built an email copywriter GPT, set it up with a bunch of frameworks like AIDA, a Pastor in a PDF, and a bunch of emails. I liked from others. As example. I think, yeah, there you go. So you give it examples, and then that's DocRock pointed out exactly. That's the next step you can take. You give it frameworks that you want it to follow, right? So one of the things transformer models or like large language models can do the best is follow templates. So if you can give it a template on how you want it to write and what you want it to look like in forms of examples instead in form of frameworks, you're gonna get a lot done. Can we input the URL directly into the knowledge base rather than upload the PDF? I see what you're saying. No. You would need to input the URL in the prompt. So the knowledge base only takes text. I believe it doesn't do URLs and it doesn't do images or videos. So if you upload a PowerPoint to it as a PDF format, in a PDF format, I don't think it can take PPTX. It would read all the text in the PowerPoint. And yeah. But basically, okay, so last thing. So let's return to Igor's prompt factory. Oh god, it reset the chat, didn't it? No, it didn't. So let's have a look if it used it. Is this the updated one though? Yeah, it's the updated one. I think. I'm just gonna rerun it. But yeah, I hope this sparked some ideas. So you could like, include the prompt factory in the preset prompt for the GPT. And then this way you could like, literally with the click of a button, you could generate thousands of prompts. And as you can see, they always vary. They're always a bit different. Not like completely different, but as soon as you change a word or two up here. And guys, this looks confusing as hell. It's like if you go into the Notion template, right? Here it's nice and clean. Here, you go to the prompt factory and then you just customize it in here. This is so much better than like, yeah, you just do it here. Plus, if you do it here once, it's saved forever. So what you want to do is you want to like duplicate these. I show this all in like the videos that come with the product. But if you duplicate this, you can make this your very own. And then I could like customize this and not lose the original preset. All right. Okay, so let's have a last look if this worked. If not, then we just discovered another limitation of this system. I mean, I reckon it often ignores the stuff in the knowledge base. I wouldn't say most of the time, but it often does it. And here I would just probably need to, it was just an idea I wanted to explore, right? But I would probably need to rewrite the instructions. Okay. But that's actually really good. This is actually a really good... Okay, so let's take this prompt from here and let's take this the final step, okay? And I have a meeting that just started, so I need to run right after this, okay? But, oh, by the way, Daniel Pierce, if you're here, could you please message Larry and Matthias that I'm coming ASAP. We have a meeting that's starting right now. But I just need to take this the final step. Okay, so we're gonna go to this custom GPT. What I'm gonna do is I don't want to mess up these public templates, but I'm just gonna do it in my own prompt database. So in here. I'm just gonna save this little prompt. See, this is how I do things. And then we're gonna edit the GPT. And then we're gonna remove this. And we're gonna go into the business blueprint. Actually, this is a great opportunity to show you the website. There you go. So the product also comes with a website. So you can just AI prompt for content creation analyst. So this is really the easiest way to access stuff. And then in here, I can access the GPT instructions like so. This is probably the fastest way. Here, the only downside is versus Notion, you have to select. So there you go. I'll just select this like so. Then I'll post them in here. And then I don't even need this prompt factory as a preset in here anymore, because what I want is the prompt that we discovered here, right? It's this one. Step-by-step engagement plan. And the cool thing is, because we have so much context in here already, we can leave these brackets like so. You know what, actually in this one, next 5 videos. And here in the prompt, all I'll do in the end is say, conse the table data, which represents my YouTube analytics in every one of your responses. Okay, cool. So now if I save this, let's just run the prompt preset. And there you go. Now it's using... Wait, but I turned off... Okay, it's using Code Interpreter to but I turned off Code Interpreter, right? I shouldn't have, actually. Okay. And there you go. This is a prompt we created with the power of AI, with the prompt factory, right? And now we're using it in tandem with our custom YouTube analytics data. So this is kind of the point that I wanted to arrive at. Okay, let's see. So I would say... I would just say, including concrete video ideas. And like this, I would kind of like iterate and improve what I'm working with, right? And then if I like this new one better, I would just take it. Let's see if we like this better. And there you go. This is it. This is kind of the... Okay, we arrived here. So now it created a step-by-step engagement plan, including concrete video ideas for increasing viewer interaction in your next 5 videos. Good. So here... Analyze viewer preferences and trends. Data insights. Your most viewed video is how to use ChatGPT by OpenAI for beginners. Video idea. Create a follow-up series titled Advanced ChatGPT Techniques for Everyday Tasks. It's kind of what we've been doing. Just like the stream. In each video, use a real-time AI prompt demonstration to solve common problems, encouraging viewers to share their unique use cases in the comments. Amazing. Next, leveraging high engagement topics. How people are using the new ChatGPT upgrades has a significant number of views and subscribers gained. Produce a video titled ChatGPT Upgrade Transforming Industries. Okay, that's a very mid type of idea. Highlight use cases from different industries. Ask viewers to comment on how these could impact. Ah, I see. Okay, I just don't like the title. I like the idea. That's okay. There you go. High engagement topic. Cool. Capitalizing on high click-through rates. The video How to Use ChatGPT by OpenAI for Beginners has a high CTR. You haven't heard of. Introduce lesser-known tips using AI prompts and ask viewers to share their own discoveries. So there you go. This is the type of stuff that I've been talking about, because these are very actionable and they're like spot on in my opinion. This is the type of quality output where you like walk away, you read the prompt and you're like, oh wow, I just had like 2-3 new ideas. Plus you have additional strategies. So let's see what did it give us? What did it give us here? Create segments, prompting viewers to share the video. Okay. End each video with a thought-provoking question related to the content. Oh, that's a cool one. I don't do that enough. We'll do that today. Poll feature, we've been doing that today. Actually, poll is still running. Maintain a regular posting schedule. That's clear. Well, there you go. You know, so I would just say, you know, thought-provoking question of the day. Did you learn anything? And if you learned, how are you going to apply it? Yeah. What's the use case that you're looking forward to trying here? How are you going to apply it? And on that, we're going to end today's stream. That's it, really. There you go. Turn this on. I think we answered all the questions. We generated hundreds of prompts. I showed you the system to generate thousands of prompts. Like inside this GPT, it's literally just click a button. Right? Like all you have to do is you click a button and then you generate 30 prompts. How cool is that? And I showed you a way to take all that, combine it with the assistant, and combine it with your own custom data to get like personalized results. Like there I was aware of like my most viewed videos. And this was the data from like the last month, right? So you could export the analytics however you want. And every time, you know, every week you could go back to this GPT and rerun it. It would give you custom recommendations based on that week's trends and data. Plus, if I had another 30 minutes, I would go ahead and give it like current like trends and other channels, you know, information. Maybe I would upload a screenshot of some trending videos. Maybe I would go to YouTube search and search for most viewed videos and give it that search as context. And then it would make even better recommendations. You just live build TubeBuddy. I guess, yeah. Yeah. All right. So that is really it for today. Thank you for joining me. This was a 2-hour live stream. Again, we have you know, Black Friday deals running. If you wanna kind of anything AI Advantage related, this is the best opportunity. 30% off everything. And yeah, thank you so much for being around, for joining me in these AI explorations. I hope you learned something. I had a great time. It's always good to have this direct line of contact. We should do this more often. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video, in the next stream. Turn on notifications to be notified, and best place to find out about upcoming streams is probably YouTube. It's probably YouTube, and yeah, subscribe to the newsletter for all updates, product updates, free template, all that good stuff. You guys already know. Thank you. Mahalo, Doc Rock, and I'll see you around. Hope you have a wonderful Sunday. Bye-bye.